Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, today is 22nd of December and in the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper. We'll simplify the articles and along with the background, we are going to see the articles. Now, before moving, I would like to tell you that if you are new here or if you are joining for the first time, you can download the synoptic notes. In the synoptic notes, we have taken the articles and we have simplified them. Here you will also be finding the editorials, and in the last mains practice question has also been given. Fine. Now, before moving, let's take the overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand which articles are important in today's newspaper. So here I have a Delhi edition, and first article is talking about Omicron variant, which is linked to recent spike in cases in China. So it has been provided that this Omicron variant, earlier the traces of this Omicron have been found in India way back in July, which is now becoming the concern in China. However, you are not required to track all these particular developments of the COVID-19 and all such kind of a things because it is an evolving matter. Then unemployment and inflation hurting the country, says Rahul Gandhi. Fine. Basically COVID-19 situation will be tested, etc. Okay, moving on. Now here we can see this thing that basically Dokra art of West Bengal has been mentioned. So what is a Dokra art? Dokra art, it is ancient methodology where the bronze figurines are made. Now basically this particular article is talking about one particular place in the West Bengal, that is Lal Bazar. Now Lal Bazar was a village that was not known few days back, but now the Lal Bazar is becoming very popular and they are making there the Dokra art figurines. It's because one of an artist has settled here. Beyond this, there is nothing mentioned in this particular article, but I'll advise you one particular thing. See, nothing much has happened, but I'll advise you that in art and culture, while you are talking about, while you are seeing the handicrafts, you need to be careful about the Dokra art. Okay, but in the article, much substance is not given. Then moving on, the city section, nightlife to boost for Delhiites ahead of New Year festivities, not very much important article. So in the regional section, political news, regional politics, crime related news, regional developments have been given. Okay, we moving on in this particular direction. The need to make cancer drugs affordable, we'll see this particular article. Then invincibility, originality of Srinivas Ramanujan, will see this particular article as well. Concerning sequence, so this article talks about that as we talk about India's vaccination program of COVID-19, we need to tweak the vaccination program in response to changes that are coming in SARS-CoV-2 virus. Okay, ties with Taliban. So this article talks about the recent decision that has been taken by Taliban, where Taliban has banned university education for girls. Now this is in violation of Taliban's promises that they made earlier. It was said by Taliban that they will not go to such kind of a practices, but this is a clear violation that's happening. Okay. However, guys, this vaccine article, etc., doesn't contains much of relevant substance. Okay, one thing I want to tell you here, though I have told you multiple number of times, that while you are reading the newspaper articles, you need to keep it in mind that whether question can be framed from this article after 6-7 months when you will be writing the exam or not. So if you find an answer that yes, question might come, then only the article is relevant for exam. Okay, so always be very careful in this thing. Benchmark for election commission's appointment. So there are multiple articles that have come on this particular line in past few days, and again this article is there. We'll see this. A shot in the arm of SPRLD alliance. Okay, political article. Then with 11 million cases, infection surge globally in December. So article is talking as how in different countries the COVID-19 infections are increasing. Okay, then the INS Marmagao and its capabilities. So briefly we'll see this article, though it came 2 days back as well. What is latest clash between Aam Aadmi Party and Delhi's Lieutenant Governor? Now see this thing. In this article, there are two angles that are given. One is political angle and other is angle with respect to the Committee on Content Regulation. Committee on Content Regulation that was framed after Supreme Court guidelines, media guidelines. So we'll see that particular aspect. It is important for the exam. Fine. Then moving on, tease the season to be jolly, books which bring tidings and comfort and joy. So this is a bibliography article, and in the bibliography article, they take up certain books and the plots of the books, etc. They talk about. So how the Grinch stole Christmas, okay, and Indian Christmas. Okay, so article, if you want to read as a leisure, you can read, but again, academic substance is not that much there. Then moving on, Delhi Excise Court takes cognizance of the charge sheet. Fine, ED alleges 5 named. Okay, so basically, the article doesn't contain much of a substance. It is just a procedural matter of the ED that has been discussed. Center withholding MG Narega funds, Trinamool, not important article. Just the political basically confrontations are being discussed here. Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh to show cultural heritage on sidelines of G20 meetings to be held in 2023. So basically, India is now president of G20, and across this year, more than 200 G20 meetings will be held across the country. So now in 2023, Jammu and Kashmir is planning to host one of a G20 meeting in Srinagar. Okay, so here they will be able to showcase their culture. Fine. So this is something that's provided, but are you required to go in this article? No, nothing important is there. However, as I told you that more than 200 meetings will happen. So throughout this year, there will be many such kind of articles that are going to come. After that, moving on, after that, important articles are not there. Again, political articles, targeted relief given during the pandemic staved of recession. So basically, in the parliament, as the proceedings are going on, so their finance minister had said that the money that we have given, it has been able to bring down the inflation. Okay, so this particular thing is being given. Then moving on, only 30% reserved vacancies in IITs, central universities filled in a year. Okay, so basically it's giving a kind of a breakup that how much vacancies, seats got filled up. Okay, vacancies at the IITs got filled up. So the university by university, institution by institution breakup is being given. Okay, so however, you don't need to see these particular numbers. Fine, 1439 vacancies were identified, 449 recruitments happened. Fine, all these particular data are being given. Okay, guys, not at all important data for the examination. Then PM2 elephant acclimatizing on habitat in MTR. Okay, so basically one of an elephant was relocated to Muddumalai Tiger Reserve, and the name of elephant was PM2. Now basically the article is just telling that now elephant is sleeping, now an elephant is going there, abhi elephant chai pee raha hai, and all these things are given, not important. Okay, so behavioral changes have been noticed. Okay, so particularly the PM2 elephants behavior are being given. Okay, okay, so guys, basically much of relevant articles are actually not there too much in the examination, so you need to be very selective. Bill to amend ST list of Chhattisgarh passed in the Lok Sabha. Okay, we have seen this particular thing that certain names of certain of the basically tribals in the Chhattisgarh who were different, those names have also been proposed. Then further moving on, US to send precision bombs and Patriot missiles in Ukraine, so because of the Russia-Ukraine confrontations that's going on. Fine. Hugs, screams and cries, Afghan women anguished at university ban. So recently Taliban has imposed university education ban on the girls. So the women have not welcomed that particular thing, obviously. Okay. However, again, I am not saying that you need to go too much into this particular article. Okay, because USA is sending this ammunition, Russia bombed on this city, Ukraine bombed on that city. Everyday details will not be relevant by the time your exam will come. So be very careful and be very selective in this particular process. Okay, Sri Lanka is awaiting assurance from India, China, says central bank governor. So Sri Lanka, as it is facing the economic crisis, it has asked the help from both India and China. Already India has given assistance of more than $4 billion to Sri Lanka. Okay, now here there's one article, India set to plan stabilization fund to bolster the carbon market. Now this is an important article that has come, we'll see this thing. Okay, after that we have the sports page. Okay, so this is all about the newspaper. In newspaper today, there are few selective articles that are actually important in the newspaper. Okay, so the objective of showing you overview is this, so that you become self-capable of yourself to identify the articles at your own. Okay, so even if you tomorrow don't want to see the newspaper analysis video, you should be able to do it at your own. Now, in every class, we start with the GS quotation. This quotation is important. This quotation is important for our GS paper number 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. You can complement it with them. Moreover, in essay, you can complement these quotations. So today's quotation is, the ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. JF Kennedy. Now we always say that one vote might not make one big difference, or how my vote will count, but no, every single vote in total, they have the power that they can change the government. So when we talk about the electoral democracy, the most potent weapon in electoral democracy that a citizen has is the vote. So therefore every single vote is important, every single vote plays a very important role. We can use this particular quote in GS paper number 2, in GS paper number 2 related answers of polity. Now taking up the first article. So this first article we have taken from the Hindu newspaper text and the context section. And article, the heading might look a little bit political, but some important content is there in article. What is the latest clash between Aam Aadmi Party and Delhi Lieutenant Governor? Now understand this particular thing. Basically, we'll see this article with respect to GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, issues of populism, issues of populism. Okay, so basically when we talk about electoral democracy, populism happens to be a very big issue. Then even in GS paper number 4, even in GS paper number 4, political ethics, this article can be seen. Now, before going in this article, first of all, let's look in little bit of background information, and then we'll see that what the article is talking about. So basically, what this word populism means. Populism means all those actions, all those activities that are done by the political parties to attract more and more people, Actually, the policies should be framed keeping in public interest and public welfare in the mind. But sometimes, rather than public importance, public welfare, and rather than focusing on governance, just attracting the people becomes a kind of an important consideration. Such kind of populism is not to bring some credible development, rather it is a kind of a publicity that government is doing. Now in this particular direction, guys, often what governments do, governments spend a lot of money, for advertisement. Okay, and in this particular thing we see this thing that a lot of valuable resources being wasted. From time and time again, the Supreme Court as and even the people have expressed concern that why government are wasting so much money on the advertisement. In this particular direction, guys, what has happened, there is one of, just a minute, there is Committee on Content Regulation in Government Advertising that is there. Now, what is this particular committee? This committee got formed on the basis of a Supreme Court's judgment. So basically, Supreme Court came with a judgment, and this particular judgment was Common Cause versus Union of India. In this particular judgment, Supreme Court provided that certain norms have to be observed when political parties are issuing advertisement. For example, it was provided this particular thing that all the states need to constitute certain bodies which will make sure, which will regulate the public advertising content. They will give consent. Okay, so basically it was provided that government advertising should maintain neutrality. Okay, it should avoid the glorification of the political personalities. So many number of times on advertisement you see the photographs of certain personalities, leaders, ministers, chief ministers. So glorification of the leader should not be there in the ad. Why? Because the ad is being published by the exchequer's money. Okay, and using that particular money to glorify one person will not be right, will not be just. Moreover, a positive impression of party should not be created by the ad that is being deployed by the public money. Fine. Or a negative impression of parties critical of the government. You should not criticize the other party also by the public fund that you are having. They should also not be used in patronizing media houses. So basically, you know this particular thing that many number of times we find many media houses, they are very close to certain political parties. Why this particular thing happens? Because certain political parties give these media houses a lot of ads. Certain newspapers, certain news channels will be getting a lot of ads, so they're getting revenue, so therefore they become loyal to the government. So basically, Supreme Court in this judgment, Common Cause versus Union of India, provided a committee should be formed. And in this particular direction, what happened? The committee came in existence, and the name of this committee is Committee on Content Regulation in Government Advertising. So this is the basic concept. I hope that you have understood it. Now, as this particular matter is there, so now the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi has pulled the Aam Aadmi Party government, and they have said this thing that over the past few time they have published many of the advertisement, and in these advertisement the photograph of the chief minister has been published, and in a way the chief minister is being glorified by that particular ad. So basically, this particular matter has been directed to Committee on Content Regulation in Government Advertising, the same committee that was constituted on the basis of the Supreme Court's recommendation. So this matter has been recommended to that particular committee, and it has been provided that 97 crore rupees. Now the number is not that much important. Now it has been said that 97 crore rupees are to be recovered from the Aam Aadmi Party along with the interest, because this particular money has been spent for advertising, and this advertising for the glorification of the chief minister, which should not be done as per the Supreme Court's direction in the Common Cause versus Union of India. Common Cause versus Union of India. Now, when we talk about this particular committee, just a minute, when we talk about this particular committee, that is the Committee on Content Regulation in Government Advertising, in this particular same direction, the state government can also constitute their state level committees, which will ensure that in that state the political advertisements are not being carried by the public money. Many of the state governments had built these particular committees, but many other state governments, what they have done, rather than having their own committee, they have given the mandate to the Content on Committee Regulation, the central level committee, that you monitor our advertisements. Okay, so this is something that is happening. So guys, in a way this is a positive development in order to ensure that public money is being used only for the right causes. But on another hand, we can also find this particular thing, that is only one political party in one of the state is doing this. Aren't there other political parties who are again using the public money? Aren't they doing advertising? Aren't they showing the photographs of the chief ministers and other ministers? Aren't they glorifying certain leaders? It is also happening in that particular case as well. So why those matters are not being picked up and only one particular political party is being picked up? So in this particular matter, we find both of the things. Both of the things. Is it clear or not? So this is all, guys, about this thing. I hope that you have understood it. Moreover, in politics, we find often this particular thing, that uh, politics is just being carried for the consolidation of power, consolidation of one's position. But Gandhian idea of politics was never this. Gandhiji, in his theory of seven social sins, is simply providing Gandhiji's theory of seven social sin simply provided that politics without principle is a sin. So politics without principle, politics without ideology, politics without very clearly stated goals should not be there. Politics for power is unethical. Okay, so this is something. Fine, guys, I hope that you have understood it. Now moving to the next article. Sir, analysis time is going short. Something ignore, you are or not. Okay, guys, one question also I got this particular thing. Analysis time. Guys, our analysis is around 1 hour. Okay, and it is around 1 hour. If you can see from some of the days. However, some days it can be 5-10 minutes more. Some days it can be like 5-10 minutes less. It purely depends on the articles that are there into that particular day's newspaper. Is it clear? If the articles will be more, it might go 10 minutes, 15 minutes up. If the articles are not relevant, it might go 10 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute less. Okay, so actually we are not running a kind of a daily soap which will be featured for 30 minutes dot. Fine. So this is a newspaper analysis. I will not be taking redundant, useless information just to ensure that, okay, I am making a 1.5 hour of analysis. Okay, I know the value of time, the value of your time which you are giving me, and my responsibility is to give you the complete worth. You will always see that in my analysis. I never blabber, I never go in useless information, I never make fun of certain unnecessary things, because I understand that your time is very, very crucial at this particular platform. Even 1 minute is crucial. So only if relevant articles are there, that will be taken. Even if it takes 1.5 hour, it will be taken. Even if it takes 2 hours, it will be taken. However, if relevant articles are not there, it might go short of 10-15 minutes. Is it clear? So that is something. Okay. And as I'm doing this particular thing for more than 3 years now, I know what is important, what is not important. So you need to trust on the process. INS Marmagao and its capabilities. Okay. And this is the reason that we take the overview first. Okay. This is the reason we take the overview first. Okay. I don't find many others or other analysts doing that particular thing, but I do that particular thing because always the students have this particular kind of a FOMO, fear of missing out or such kind of a thing. So therefore we do that particular thing. But yes, every day the newspaper is around 1 hour. Okay, it will not be like that. Okay, some days it's 1.5 hour and some days it's only 10 minute or 12 minute. Okay, so 10-15 minutes here and there subjectivity will always be there. Okay. Now, the INS Marmagao and its capabilities. Okay. So basically, recently what has happened, the INS Marmagao has been handed over to the Indian Navy. Is it clear? Now, in this particular direction, guys, we are going to see some of the major and important developments. So basically, there is the idea of blue water navy. I have discussed it earlier also, but again I am discussing. There is idea of blue water navy. So blue water navy is a precursor for becoming the superpower, is a precursor for becoming a superpower. Blue water navy is that navy which have presence in all the oceans, all the major oceans of the world. So when we talk about US Army, US Navy, US Navy is blue water navy, and by that particular thing, a country can become a superpower. In this particular direction, India aims to be the blue water navy in the medium term, and at same time in immediate term, India's priority is to ensure the coastal security. We have more than 7,500 kilometer of coastline, and the dangers are emanating from the sea as well. For example, we know this thing, Mumbai terror attacks that happened, the terrorist came from the sea. So we have a 7,500 kilometer of a coastline which needs to be protected in the matters of piracy. Fine, there is piracy, there is a smuggling. Okay, there is a terrorism emanating from the sea. So therefore, this is one thing. Secondly, we also want to ensure rule-based order in Indo-Pacific. And for all this particular thing, we need to have the naval power. And in this particular direction, there are certain developments that have happened in the past, including this INS Marmagao, which have recently been inducted in Indian Navy. Okay. Now understand this particular thing. First of all, let's discuss about this INS Marmagao, what this ship is, what are the capabilities of this ship is. So INS Marmagao, it is also named as Yard 12705. This ship has joined the Indian Navy's fleet. Okay. Now, one thing, guys, I want to tell you that in this particular article, a lot of too technical details have also been given. For example, I'll show you. Fine, that it is 163 meters long, 17 meters wide, had a displaces 7,400 ton. Okay, propelled by 4 gas turbines. Now this information is at all not important for our examination that we are talking, because these technical details, fine, first of all, we don't have only one ship. Okay, so these technical details of one of a vessel and many other vessels is not that much important, so we will not go in this particular detail. Okay, now basically this INS Marmagao, it is the part of Vishakhapatnam class destroyers that are being built. Now let's understand this particular thing in little bit more detail. Basically guys, basically guys, uh, I will be taking up first this, that project 15, the project 15 was launched in 1990. Just a minute. Project 50 was launched in 1990s. And what is this project 15? Project 15 aimed to deploy add the guided missile destroyers to the inventory of Indian Navy. Guided missile destroyers. Okay, we need them to preserve the coastlines. And for that, Project 15 was launched. Now this particular the destroyers that will be developed under the Project 15, these ships were called as Delhi class. Okay. After that, what happened? There was another project that was taken after the project 15, that is project 15A. Now the ships that will be developed under project 15A, they will be called as the Kolkata class. So there is a Delhi class, then there is Kolkata class. Now the Kolkata class was majorly focused on deploying the advanced technology and equipment in the surface ships. So we have surface ships and we have submarines. In the surface ships, how the advanced technology, how advanced combat technologies can be deployed, these type of ships were to be developed. Okay, so I'm writing here project 15 Delhi class ships, project 15A Kolkata class ship. Okay, and after that there was another project that was taken. Now this particular after that another project was taken, that is project 15B. And the project 15B, it is also called as the Vishakhapatnam class. Project 15B was called as Vishakhapatnam class, and it is the follow up on the Kolkata class, and weapon intensive destroyers were to be deployed. Okay, so Delhi class, Kolkata class, and Vishakhapatnam class. Okay, so weapon intensive destroyers were to be deployed, and the project 15B got started. And under project 15B, the main aim was to incorporate advanced design concepts, state of the art weaponry, sensors, advanced stealth features, high degree of automation, improved survivability, sea keeping, stealth, maneuverability. All these features were to be added, and the ships which are laced with these features are to be deployed. Okay, so the Vishakhapatnam class ships are called as project 15B class ships as well. Now under this particular class, there were the four ships that were to be developed. Four ships that were to be developed. The design of this particular ships was developed by Directorate of Naval Design, and the ships were constructed by Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited, okay, which is in Mumbai. Okay, now I told you the four ships will be constructed, and these four ships were named by the four cities. Now Vishakhapatnam, Marmagao, Imphal, and Surat. These will be the four ships. So first was Vishakhapatnam. This particular ship has already been commissioned in 2021. This particular ship has already been commissioned in 2021. Now the Marmagao, which is the second ship in Vishakhapatnam class in project 15B, it has been given to Navy. Other two ships, that is Imphal and Surat, they will be inducted in somewhere in 2023. Somewhere in 2023. Is it clear? Okay, this is something that has been there. Now guys, project 15B Vishakhapatnam, I already told you that it has been commissioned. Now when we talk about this INS Marmagao, it has BrahMos surface to surface air missiles, Barak 8 surface to air missile. It has long range offshore and sea based this Barak 8 surface to air missile can target long range offshore and sea based targets. After that, it also have super rapid gun. Moreover, it is also having the capability that it can equip and it can carry the multi-role helicopters on this particular ship, so that they can further aid in better assistance. Moreover, it also have many of the sophisticated digital networks also. For example, combat management system. Combat management system performs a threat evaluation. Okay, so let's say the ship is in water. So what are the threats they are there? It can evaluate these particular threats, and on the basis of inventory, on the basis of weapon that they are having on board, they can tell that whether we are capable to fight with this particular threat or not. So what it does, it performs threat evaluation and resource allocation based on tactical picture compiled and ammunition available on board. Then next is automatic power management system. It controls the power management into the ship. Okay, and then the ship is also equipped with advanced sensors to track a lot of data. Okay, then now as we talk about the India, I told you India's interests are closely tied to the Indian Ocean. A lot of shipping lanes pass from Indian Ocean. Okay, moreover, India, as is sitting on the head of Indian Ocean, is entrusted with responsibility to ensure rule based order. Now we see China is expanding its footprint in this region, and Chinese strategic interests are increasing in this particular region. So therefore, to contain China also, India needs naval power in this region. Okay, moreover, in the area of globalization, The nations are dependent on each other, and as naval trade is increasing, fine, so we also need to secure the sea lanes, and therefore such naval ships, naval fleets are very much important. So that's all guys about this particular article, and now we'll move to next article. Now we'll move to the next article. Now, India set to plan stabilization fund to bolster the carbon market. Okay. Now, let's understand this particular article. This article will be important for GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3, environment, okay, and economy. Now, let's understand this article first. Basically, what's carbon market? What's carbon market? Okay, and after carbon market, we'll understand that what is this fund that government has instituted and how this particular fund is going to ensure the survivability of carbon market. Recently, energy conservation bill and energy conservation amendment bill 2022 has been passed. Okay, energy conservation amendment bill 2022 has been passed recently in parliament, and one of a provision of this energy conservation amendment bill is to install carbon credit system, is to install carbon credit system or carbon market in India. Now what is this carbon market? Okay, so basically the idea of carbon market is something like this, that guys, every major industry is emitting some of the carbon, we call it as carbon footprint. Till now, there was no limitation as how much carbon footprint you can have. As much smoke you want, you can emit. As much other gases you want to emit, you can do that particular thing. Now what will happen? Every industry will be given a carbon quota, or will be given a carbon limit. For example, uh, let's take, we have cement industry, we have steel industry. Okay, we have cement industry, we have steel industry. Let's say we have automobile manufacturing industry. They will be given their carbon quota. For example, cement industry is given that they can emit the maximum carbon dioxide, let's say 100 ton. Steel industry can emit, let's say 80 ton. Automobile manufacturing industry, let's say, can emit 40 ton. So they have been given that only this amount of carbon you can emit. This is your carbon footprint. You need to stay in this particular thing. Now, within the cement, we know that there are the multiple other players who are manufacturing the cement. For example, let's say there is Ultratech cement. Let's say there is some X cement, Y cement. Okay, all these cements we have. So these individual players will also be given a particular quota. For example, Ultratech cement has been given that you can emit 20 tons of carbon. Okay, and let's say some other X cement company, they have been given the quota that you can also emit 20 ton. Okay, so industrial carbon quotas will the carbon quota for entire industry will be there, and within the industry's independent unit, they will also be given certain carbon quota. Is it clear or not? So entire cement sector was given the quota of, let's say, 100 ton, and within that individual players will be given some 10, 15, 20, depending on their size. Okay, so Ultratech cement has to emit 20 ton only. Now let's say in the complete year they were able to emit just 80 ton. So what have happened? They have saved 20 ton, and this is the carbon credit that they got. Now why they were able to 20, why they were able to save 20, why they were able to manage in 80 only? Because they deployed some good technologies. Okay, so they have saved this 20. Now let's say this x also, sorry, we have used the wrong numbers. They were given 20 ton. Out of the 20 ton, they have emitted 80. So therefore, let's say 2 ton of carbon credit they have deployed. Now this X company, they were also given the 20 ton. And what happened? They emitted 22 ton. but they cannot go beyond 20. So what they will do, they will take this 2 ton carbon credit that is saved by the Ultratech, and in turn they will give them some money. In turn they will give them some money. So therefore what happened here, there is an incentive that is at the back door. How incentive is there? Ultratech knows this particular thing, that if we will reduce less carbon, we can trade that particular carbon to some other person and we will get money. Okay, and other company also knows this particular thing, that if we will emit too much, we need to buy the carbon quota and we have to give money. So therefore everybody will try to reduce their carbon emissions. So therefore there is a carbon credit program that will start it. Now this entire carbon credit program will happen in carbon market. So there is a carbon market, and in this carbon market, this carbon credit trading program will take place. Now, all the things that I have explained you, I have mentioned here in this particular paragraph also in a very simple kind of a language, so that you can understand and you can read it after seeing this particular explanation. I'll just highlight the important point, that what are carbon markets? These are tools for putting a price on carbon emission. It allows the trade of carbon credit with overall objective of bringing down the emissions. For example, an industrial unit which outperforms the emission standards stands to gain credit, as Ultratech gained the credit. This is something that is happening. Now, India already has provided that such carbon market will be deployed. Where we have provided for that particular thing, we have done we have came out with the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022. Now, one more development has happened in this particular direction. What has happened? India is planning for a stabilization fund. Okay. Now, what is this stabilization fund? Basically, the carbon credit that will be sold, if this carbon credits price go too much low, obviously the incentive will be lost in this entire arrangement. So therefore, to keep this carbon credits price at a particular level, this stabilization fund is being created. Okay, to keep prices of credit in its planned carbon market above a threshold. Okay, and enduring that they remain attractive for investors and the market succeeds in cutting emissions. Is it clear or not? Now, money in the fund will be used by market regulator to buy carbon credit if price fell too low. So to keep this entire system viable, this stabilization fund is being deployed. Okay, now guys, just understand this particular thing, that if let's say now let's say there is one carbon unit, the price is, let's say, only 50 rupees. Okay, so basically the industries will not be incentivized to cut down the carbon emission. So it needs to be viable, it needs to be at a particular place. So for that particular thing, if price goes down, the money will be used from stabilization fund and that particular thing will be bought at a particular price. So that is all about this particular article, guys. I hope that you have understood. And now going to the next article, the need to make cancer drugs affordable. The need to make cancer drugs affordable. Now, this particular article, guys, will be important for GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2 health, GS paper number 2 health. Okay, so basically what has happened recently in Rajya Sabha, the Rajya Sabha's Standing Committee on Health has provided this particular data, that 40% of the cancer hospitalizations that are happening in the country, 40% of the cancer cases, they are financed through borrowings. You take money as a loan, sale of assets, people sell their property, their houses, and contribution from friends and relatives. So 40% of cancer hospitalizations cannot be afforded by the people. They are affording that by selling the land, property, by borrowing, by taking the money from the friends, etc. Now, it has been provided this particular thing, that basically the number of cancer patients are also going to increase. The incidence of cancer is around 1.4 million in 2020. Clear? So cancer cases are also going up. Now, number one, the cancer treatment is very expensive. Secondly, guys, the survivability rate of cancer in India is particularly low. So it has been provided that into the case of the breast cancer, it is into the case of the breast cancer, we find this particular thing that the survival rate in India and South Africa, they are around 65% and 45%. So survival rate in India is 65% in the case of breast cancer, but at the same time in America, this is very much high. Particularly if we talk about the average of high income countries, we find that it stands around 90%. 90%, but in India just 65%. So survivability rate is very much less. Now guys, it's being provided as per the data by WHO, World Health Organization. Cancer medicines are very much expensive. Okay, cancer medicines are very much expensive. Now, for example, it's being provided that that for the early stage breast cancer, the medicines that are to be taken, it will be equivalent to 10 year of average annual wages in India. Okay, 10 years of annual wages in India. By that, the cancer treatment in the early cases can be done. But in USA, it's around 1.7 years of wages. So in US, by 1.7 years of wages, the cancer treatment, early stage breast cancer treatment can be availed. But in India, it takes 10 years of wages. Now, basically, it's being provided that when we talk about the cancer medicines, okay, guys, now the cancer medicines are those medicines which slow down the cancer. So these cancer medicines, they basically they cost around 48,000 to 95,000 rupees monthly, and these medicines are to be taken for the rest of the life. For the rest of the life, 48,000 to 95,000 rupees worth of medicines are to be taken up. Now, first of all, let's understand that why these medicines are so expensive. There are reasons for this thing. Number one reason is that the pharmaceutical companies who are making these medicines, they say that we invest a lot of money in research and development. According to them, over $3 billion are spent to bring a new molecule to the market, and they say that if they want to stay in the market, if they want to be viable, they need to ensure that they are recovering this particular research and development cost. So therefore medicines are going to be expensive. Second is they want to maximize profit because these are the private corporations, so they are charging a lot of money. And then the next reason is there, the intellectual property protection, intellectual property right. So basically whenever a new medicine, or let's say whenever a new drug or molecule is invented, they apply for intellectual property right on that particular medicine, and for 20 to 25 years the intellectual property right is given. Now it depends on country to country, somewhere it's 20 years, somewhere 25 years, but standard it stays in 20 to 25 years. It means that for this particular period, only that particular company, let's say A, can make that particular medicine. Now if only one company can make a medicine for 20 years or 25 years, they have a monopoly, and whatever price they want, they can charge for that particular thing. Okay, so this is something that has happened. Moreover, these pharmaceutical companies have successfully persuaded their governments to strengthen their IPR rights, to strengthen the patent ecosystem. They have done this particular thing. Now understand this particular thing. If the medicines are very expensive, simply people, many of the people cannot afford them, cannot afford them. Because of that particular thing, what's happening, people's fundamental right, article number 21, right to life, and a right to life with the dignity is getting impacted. Moreover, Supreme Court of India has very clearly taken this particular thing, that right to life is the most precious human right. Right to life is most precious human right, and it has provided that a right to life and right to health is an extension. Right to health is an extension of right to life. Okay. Now, WHO, World Health Organization's constitution also provides that enjoyment of highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental right of every human being. And now, if people cannot afford, if people cannot afford the medicine, obviously it's their right to life is getting impacted. Okay, now moving in this particular direction. So what can be the way forward? So number one way forward is compulsory licensing. Now guys, what is compulsory licensing? Compulsory licensing, it is a kind of a phenomena where the government of one particular country can provide to certain drug manufacturers. Let's say take one example. Let's take one example. Suppose there is one company A. Company A had made, let's say, the medicine for skin cancer. They have made medicine for skin cancer. and now they have taken 25-year patent. They have taken a 25-year patent. For 25-year only they will manufacture it and they will sell it at whatever price they want. And let's say they are selling this particular medicine at 50,000 rupees per month. Okay, per month's medicine cost 50,000 rupees. Now they are very expensive. So basically government of India, what it can do, government of India using Indian Patent Act, Indian Patent Act 1970, government of India using Indian Patent Act 1970 can provide this particular patent, to some of the generic drug manufacturer. Let's say they give this particular patent to Cipla and they ask the Cipla that okay, you also make this exact medicine. Now obviously Cipla had not invested any money for any research and innovation, so only the salt and the money that is needed for manufacturing, that is needed. Let's say the Cipla is also manufacturing the same medicine, so they can give this 50,000 rupees medicine, let's say at 5,000 rupees. So this is compulsory licensing. In compulsory licensing, the patent which is protected is provided to some other pharmaceutical company or some other company so that they can make the product. Okay, this is the compulsory licensing. Fine. This is something that can be done. It allows the government to license the third parties, that is parties other than the patent holder. After that, there is also the section 100 of the Indian Patent Act 1970. Now, what is section 100? It is a little bit different. Here, the government can provide that any entity can use a patented invention without the authorization of patent holder. So, section 100 provides that government will keep that patent in open. Anybody can make that. In compulsory licensing, government is choosing one or two or three pharmaceutical companies that they will only be making. So section 100 can also be used. Now during the COVID-19, we know this particular thing that the vaccines were very much important and the vaccines got patented also. Okay. Now what has happened here? Basically we see this particular thing that under the WTO, argument has been made that compulsory licensing can be used for the domestic production of the COVID-19 vaccine. So this is one example. Now not only for the COVID-19 vaccines but for other kind of vaccines also, the compulsory licensing is to be carried or other kind of mechanisms are to be brought. Okay, so this is all guys about this particular article. I hope that you have understood this particular article, and now moving to next article. The Invincible Originality of Srinivas Ramanujan. Now, basically, this article has come because we are observing the World Mathematics Day. Now, in this particular direction, guys, understand the article is going to be important. Article is going to be important for GS paper number 3, Artificial Intelligence and developments in artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, let's discuss the article. So basically guys, today we know this particular thing that artificial intelligence has become very important. Okay, today we see this particular thing that the artificial intelligence has become very much important, and in this particular direction guys, we see this particular thing that there are many of the invention and innovations also that have happened on the artificial intelligence. For example, there are two of the platforms, that is the chat GPT, okay, and Lambda, chat GPT and Lambda. Now when we talk about the Lambda stands for language model for dialogue applications, okay, and chat GPT. So these are the artificial intelligence based softwares which can talk with you, which can interact with you, which can give you the solutions of the questions that you are asking them, and many other kind of operations they can perform. Now here we are going to little bit discuss about these particular applications. For example, in broad, what they can do, they can create answers from already existing information. They can carry the human conservations. They can synthesize the information. Particularly chat GPT, it stands for chat generative pre-trained transformer, and this chat GPT transfer can answer the questions on almost any topic. Any topic you can ask, they can answer the question. They can talk with you, carry on the conversations with the human, can write the poems, can write the computer programs, can perform many more complex tasks, can any task that particular require the intelligence. So these are all the things that can be done, and this is something which tells us that what artificial intelligence can do, what artificial intelligence can perform. Is it clear or not? Now, in this particular direction, guys, understand this particular thing, that basically when we talk about the artificial intelligence, okay, basically these particular things can further be extended. Now, recently what has happened, a team of Israeli scientists, they have announced a new software tool called the Ramanujan machine. Now the Ramanujan machine is also a machine which is based on artificial intelligence, and this particular Ramanujan machine can create mathematical conjectures. Now, what are the mathematical conjunctures? Mathematical conjunctures are the equations without the proof. Are the equations without the proof. Now, the mathematicians have to solve these particular equations and has to provide the proof. So mathematicians, they can prove that yes, this equation is true, or they can disapprove that no, this equation is not true. Okay, and they need to establish a theorem. They also need to give proof for for falsifying, or if they wanted to uphold a particular theorem. Now, today, that is the 22nd of the December, National Mathematics Day is being celebrated. Okay, and this particular day is celebrated every year to mark the birth anniversary of the legendary Indian mathematician Srinivas Ramanujan. Now, when we talk about Srinivas Ramanujan has been a par excellence mathematician, and Ramanujan has also recorded more than 3000 equations that were the conjunctures. Conjunctures are the equations without the proof. Okay, so he had done this particular thing. Now, Srinivas Ramanujan has been unparalleled in the mathematics world because of his ability. For example, elliptic curves are widely studied under the number of theory. Okay, so therefore he had given a lot of contribution. Okay, now basically the mathematics have lot of contribution in cryptography. Okay, it has a lot of basically in computer network communication also it plays an important role. So basically this is a way as how the Srinivas Ramanujan is being remembered. Okay, so this is all about this particular article, guys. Okay, now we'll be moving into the next article. Benchmark for EC's election commission's appointment. Okay, now, again, if you are following the newspaper analysis regularly, Election Commission of India, this article, I don't even remember that how many time it has come. Okay, but anyhow, guys, let's take that article, what it is talking about. Okay, if you are not knowing this particular article, okay, please be very careful. If you know the article, this particular issue, let's revise it. So this article will be important for GS paper number 2, constitutional bodies. Constitutional bodies. Okay. So basically, guys, recently what has happened, Election Commission of India's functioning has come under question mark in Supreme Court. Okay, recently what has happened, understand this particular thing, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court, and petition questioned the independence and functional independence of Election Commission of India. It has been said that nowadays there might be the possibility that election commissioners might be inclined towards a political party, or political parties, the ruling government can appoint such election commissioners who will be favorable to them. Recently what happened, there was a vacancy in Election Commission of India, and for that particular thing, in a very swift manner, the vacancy was filled. Actually, what happened, one of an IAS officer resigned on Friday, took, sorry, actually not resigned, took the voluntary retirement on Friday, was appointed on Saturday, and took the charge on Monday. Now, the point that came is that how in a very swift manner such kind of an appointment happened. Was there the fair process that was adopted or not? So this particular thing shows that whether the Election Commission of India and election commissioners are non-partisan or not. So for that functional independence, the petition has been filed. Okay, this is going on. Now, Election Commission of India has been there. Now, when we talk about Election Commission of India, there's Article 324 of the Constitution, which actually from where the Election Commission of India majorly derives its power. Article 324 says the superintendence, direction, control of all the elections in Parliament, state legislature, and the office of President, Vice President shall be vested in Election Commission of India. Now, as we talk about the design of Election Commission of India, so Election Commission was a single member body till 1989, but with the Election Commissioner Amendment Act 1989, it became a multi-member body. Okay. Now Election Commission will consist of Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, which will be fixed by President from time to time. And presently there are the three members, that is one Chief Election Commissioner and two election commissioners. Okay. So this is something. Now it has been said that there are certain weaknesses in Election Commission, and the first weakness that comes here is that basically is the system of appointments of the election commissioners. Okay. Now basically it has been said that there is a kind of a bureaucratization of Election Commission of India that has happened. What is the meaning of this bureaucratization? Retired IAS officer and all such kind of a bureaucrats are becoming the election commissioners. But never in constitution it was hinted that the bureaucrats should be given the important position. So the people apart from the bureaucrats who should also be given the opportunity, but that has not happened. Moreover, there are another issues also in election commission. For example, there is the elevation of election commission to chief election commissioner. So election commissioners, after election commissioners are elevated to chief election commissioners. Moreover, we find this particular thing that we at particular times the chief election commissioner is given more importance than election commissioner. How? Number one, when we talk about the removal process, chief election commissioner can be removed through the process of impeachment in the manner of a Supreme Court judge, in the manner of the Supreme Court judge. But at the same time, election commissioners can be simply be removed on the basis of recommendation of chief election commissioner. Their removal manner should not be like the chief election commissioners. So inequality has come. So therefore it has been said that it is a violation of first among equals. It is a violation of first among equals. Next thing is that monopolization of the ECs and CEC by administrative services. We have already discussed this particular thing. So therefore there are certain suggestions that are being given, and in the line of the suggestion, it is being said that an existing committee of parliament or a new committee of parliament should be formed, and this particular committee should first of all frame the qualifications and requirement of the person to be appointed as EC and CEC. Right now no clear qualifications and requirement have been published, but no, that's not correct. We need to have some very clearly defined qualifications. Okay, so this particular thing should be done by the committee and it should be approved by the parliament. So these proposals should be put in front of parliament and parliament should approve it by the 2/3 of the majority. And after this particular thing has been done, the same committee can also be given the task of searching and selecting the individuals to hold the position of election commissioner, chief election commissioner, and these particular individuals will be given the charge. So basically it is talking about that today. Now guys, today when we talk about chief election commissioner and election commissioner's appointment, the appointment is done by the President of India. Is it clear or not? Now it means, you know this thing, that the president will act on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister and Prime Minister. So in a way, government is appointing the election commission's member. So here it is being said that rather than we need to have a committee which will go in this entire matter. So committee should invite nominations, applications from individual who are interested, and the people who have been scrutinized, their list needs to be sent to the parliament for consideration. Is it clear? No. A recommendation of this particular committee should be approved by parliament. Oh, and if they are approved, then that particular selection can happen. And also one more reform is being suggested, that the people who are being appointed, they need to be appointed for the age of 6 years and 75 years of age. Right now this age limit is 6 and 65. 6 years or 65 years of age. So it needs to be changed to 6 and 75. So this is the reform in Election Commission of India that is being suggested in this particular article. Okay guys, so I hope that you have understood it, and now we will be going to the mains practice question for the today. So today's mains practice question, it says health sector in the country is under pressure from multiple issues such as poor infrastructure and burden of the pandemic. In this context, suggest possible solutions to address this particular issue. Okay, so this will be the answer for GS paper number 2 topic of health. GS paper number 2 topic of health. It will be a 10 marker question. Okay, so that is all guys about it, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis discussion. And guys, if you are liking this particular initiative, please do hit the like button. Guys, just one thing I want to tell you, please stay here with me for just 1 minute. You guys understand this particular thing, that if you have ever uh, uh, searched the YouTube type bar, and if you put there the Hindu newspaper analysis, our video or our channel doesn't come in the recommendation there. Why it doesn't comes in the recommendation in there? Because guys, YouTube algorithm is planned in a particular way. YouTube algorithm will promote only those videos on which there will be the interactions. Interactions means number of likes and number of comment. So if the number of like and number of comment are more, YouTube gets an impression that this particular video is important and those videos are promoted. Okay, but our video never features into the search bar. Okay, if you have searched the channel once or twice, then it will feature, but if a new person is searching, it will never come. So therefore guys, understand this particular thing, that our channel needs your support in order to sustain, in order to continue this particular initiative. You need to understand that this initiative cannot endlessly continue. Okay, if there will not be significant traction, if there not be significant traction, then fine, we have to take certain calls. So it depends only on your support. Okay, so guys, that is all from my side. Thank you so much. Okay, Shushma Shri has one question. 20th class missed. We want synoptic notes. Shushma, if you have joined the Telegram channel, I already told that there was death of some loved one that happened on that particular day in the night time. So therefore, I was not able to stream the video on that particular day. Okay, so I hope that you will understand this the sensitivity of this particular thing. Okay, so that's why the newspaper synoptic notes also did not came.